Okay, now we're ready to pitch our yeast. And what we've done here is that water that we had previously heated to help flow our honey, we've brought that up to between 104 and 109 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the perfect temperature for the yeast to do real well. So when there's no real exact measurements with the amount of water you should use, just about any bowl like this with a decent amount of water is going to be fine. So you pitch that water right in there with the yeast. And in a few minutes you're going to see that start to bubble up really nice. And if you see that bubbling, which you should see, the yeast is alive and healthy and starting to work real well. So you should pretty much just, for now, pretty much leave it alone. You can give it a small stir if you wanted to, but you really don't want to agitate it. You can stir it up a little bit to make sure the yeast gets nice and wet. But the point here isn't to stir it like a milkshake. You just want to make sure all the yeast is exposed to the warm water, and that's between 104 and 109 degrees. And if you don't use the same type of yeast, you should follow the exact instructions that come with that type of yeast that you're using. And in this case, it will allow D47. That's what you're supposed to do. So now we're going to let that sit for, I believe, 15 minutes. And we'll come back. Alright, well, we're going to pitch right now we're going to pitch that. Earlier we had made the mixture of yeast energizer and yeast nutrient and just had set that aside. Now we're going to pitch that right into the batches of honey and water. So, and then the energizer and nutrient, that's going to be very helpful to get the yeast going. There's a lot of sugar in there from the honey, but the energizer and nutrients going to help a lot. Now we're going to just stir this up, and the point here is just to try to get the whole batch homogeneous. Just to make sure you feel along the bottom and that the honey's coming in. It's a nice even mix of everything. So and then after that, after we see that our yeast is activated well and going well, in about 15 minutes, we'll pitch that right in and we'll be almost done. So we'll be right back.